Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to an all new episode of Holotheatre. As always, I'm Dan Tartaglione, also known as D Tartag1. Joining me tonight from his
City in
platform,
the
I
Clouds.
was going to say your platform in this from the city in the clouds, is Mr. Hayes Hunter. How you doing tonight, Hayes?
Doing well. Good to be here with you, Dan.
I feel like we've done this a few times this year. Like this is what the third time.
Sure.
Well,
Sounds right.
I mean, we're here to talk about the Ender Grand Prix first of all, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the Ohio Mega Worlds. That was 2 weekends ago. It seems like it was just like yesterday in some ways, but we got an exciting show. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Before we do, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on right now in Star Wars CCG. So. I think the first thing is, and the biggest thing is the that we have the OCS finals. Uh, in that Justin Desai advanced over Drew Lichtenstein, and
Emo.
Timo. I won't know if I want to say it was an upset, but defeated Sam Tashima earlier today to advance to the finals as well. Did you watch any of those games?
Yeah. Well, I listened to today's game. I was driving around doing some errands, but
Same.
yeah, Y40 is definitely not a great matchup, I think, for Shadow Collective. And what was the other game?
The other one
Win by eight,
was
the Agents over Obi Muning. That was surprising to me. I definitely thought that Obi Muning should win that matchup. Um,
now.
but
Were you surprised by any of the deck choices?
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I had no idea what Timo was going to play. Sam is new allies, and I feel like he's been making an effort to expand his range a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because everyone kind of just brands him as the QMC guy. But obviously on new allies, Kessling and Shaw and Drew are sort of the leader of the pack there. So you can just
Mm-hmm.
sort of, when you look at what they've done well with recently in tournaments, I think that's what Sam sort of fell back on. And it's when you're talking with teammates, it's easy to go with what works, right? That's so.
True.
I wasn't really shocked there, and Timo, I had no idea. Like, I think he likes space and TTO, and I'm not sure what else, but yeah. So,
I mean,
and then Desai and Drew played phenomenal games. That
yeah.
was those games were intense. Like the amount of not battling was, I mean, both those guys, it was those I did actually watch. I didn't watch them live. I went back and watched the
Yeah.
games. But yeah, a lot of crazy good Star Wars being played on both fronts there. So I mean, the interesting dynamic about the OCS, of course, is the sort of preemptive deck selection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like when Tom won whatever he won, the Gem PC, I think it was, that one that he did that super long
Yes.
tournament report that's reference to Doctor Strangelove in the title, which is a great tournament report. Anyone who wants to be good at card games, read, or Star Wars specifically, read it. What he does there is, every round he knows exactly who his opponent is, so
Mm-hmm.
he does his research, finds out what their tendencies are, and then he tweaks his deck to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And you lose some of that in the OCS, well, the current OCS format where you have to pick your deck two in advance because you can kind of try to prognosticate, but at the same time it's more challenging. And yeah, so I I'm going to be very curious to see what the two finalists bring. I'm actually very curious to know what Drew and Sam also had that they didn't end up
That's a good
playing
point. Yeah.
because they didn't make the finals. Um, but yeah, just listening to the games and watching the games has been really good.
And I like that point that she said about like Sam and Drew knowing what they could have been playing, especially in the fact that they could have faced each other in the finals.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. I think you don't tech your team. That's not how it works, right? I think you what?
Go on. Sorry, a random alarm that I had set decided to go off when I told it. I had it set for earlier. Never mind.
Okay.
But no, we were talking about you were talking about how you don't tech for teammates and everything.
Yeah, yeah. So it's I think probably for Drew and for Sam, it was probably easier because
Mm-hmm.
they basically took each other out of the equation. So they basically said, how do I beat, you know, Timo and Desai? I think that was their decision-making process. They didn't have to worry about, another person in the mix.
That's a good point. So we have the finals. It is our number 9 seed, Justin Desai versus our number 7 seed, Timo Dussel. Who do you think's going to win
I don't know, man.
it?
It's I mean, they're both excellent players. It's what I wonder is how seriously Desai thought he would end up against Timo in the finals,
That's a good point. Yeah.
Not no disrespect to Timo at all, but there's definitely American bias, right? Because you're more familiar with playing people that you see
Mm-hmm.
at events. So like, you know, Timo probably gets discounted because of that a little bit unfairly. Um, but yeah,
And yeah, I was going to say, and the same can be said definitely about. Oh, Eric's in the chat.
hi
I,
Eric.
I was going to say, he says happy birthday to you. So happy birthday, by the way. But I was going to say, Gavin is the same thing. He doesn't go to events, and yet he made the top 8.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean you still have to respect the player. I mean we definitely know who the heavy hitters are
Yeah.
on Gemp. So, but yeah, and again, that whole where you have to pick two decks in advance thing, um, I feel like if I was participating in this, I would. It's very similar to the shuffle when we do top 8 in real life.
Yeah.
You kind of get less. You might add a card or two. Like I added Blount and Tanev or whatever to my OB because I'm like
Mm-hmm.
there could be ISB in the field, and whatever. But you don't hardcore sell out. You still I think play what you think is the best deck. So, um, and I mean I can. It's easier for me to predict, I think, what Desai is going to play because he's more vocal about what he thinks the best decks are in the
True.
field or whatever. Um, but Timo is always a mystery, which is going to make it entertaining, right? Because you're going to get, you know, I can't wait to watch. So leave it at that.
And right now, we do not have a time and date that are, for these to be streamed yet or to be played. Once they are announced, we'll let everybody know. So stay tuned to Slack, forums, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, all of social media. We'll make sure that everybody gets it out here because I have a feeling it's going to be good TV. So, and then this Saturday is the 5th in the GEMP thematic Swiss events. This one is the
Make
B
BB-8 great.
BB8 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 bout. Uh, yeah, there's no way I can say that again. It's going to be this Sunday, November 19th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Registration deadline is Sunday the 18th or Saturday the 18th at 10 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys get into that. Again, to sign up for it, all you got to do is go to the PC store, sign up. I believe it's $10 to play. Depending on the number of players, right now there are 7 players signed up. So only first and second are going to get a deck box. If we get 11 to 15, first, second, and then somebody random is going to get one. 16 plus, 4 people are going to walk away with the deck box. So yeah, it is going to be this Sunday at 10 a.m. So get out there, sign up. Justin Mishiro, Edward Shien, Ryan Searson, Large Porg himself, Chris Kelly, Robbie Hendon, and AJ Hatum are all signed up right now. Uh, that just screams a lot of Hitco to me.
Does it?
I mean, Chris Kelly plays
That's one.
Hitco.
That's one.
AJ plays Hitco here and
Maybe.
there. I think
So what you're saying is show up with something that can beat Hitco?
yeah.
You really don't like Chris Kelly, do you?
No, I do like Chris Kelly. I do.
Okay.
I I don't know. It just I don't know. I know Garrett's playing too, and he loves Hitco.
Yes. He beat me with this Echo.
We'll talk about it in a little bit. Then we have the Jawa Cup right around the corner. 2023-2024 Jawa Cup. That will commence in December. Signups are live for it right now. So if you are interested in playing, this is going to start December 8th through February 25th. So more than 2 months worth of Jawa. Not sure if the Jawa format has been the ban list has been announced yet, the official one. Once it is announced, we'll make sure to get it out to all the public. That way, you can see what decks to play, what decks not to play. But I know QMC, Desert Landing Site, communing in general.
You may start your landing, I think was banned, right?
Yes, I think Bring Them Before Me, SSA, they were all banned. So, all your favorite decks.
Yep.
So, and then the Outrider Cup is again right around the corner as well. Team USA versus Team Europe. Who's going to win? I believe that Justin Desai is the American captain, and I'm not sure on the European captain.
Aaron,
But
maybe?
I think it was Emil because he won the Euros championships this year, I believe. So, but yeah, that's definitely going to be a fun thing. I think you're on the team, Hayes.
Yep,
So, are you going to be playing?
probably.
You sound a little reserved
I
about that.
I much prefer playing cardboard in person than online.
That's fair. Hey, I mean, I like the idea. Fly out both teams to like Iceland or to London or some like kind of neutral-ish grounds. I'll take one for the team and go do commentary. I know
I think,
Chris Schoenthal can run it.
yeah, I mean that idea has been floated. If that happens, I mean I think it'd be insane to coordinate, right? Like it's difficult getting
I don't know. I mean,
people
we
to.
have an in with airline. I mean, Large Porg can get everybody plane tickets.
Yeah, I think it's just real life. We're all old now and kids and stuff. But yeah, I mean certainly if something like that happened, it'd be fun. But we'll see.
I do agree. And then January 12th through the 14th is the Supreme Southern Showdown, also known as the
No, it's the Atlanta
Shindig.
Supreme Showdown something.
Well, it was the Atlanta Shindig. Now it's the Supreme Southern Showdown on the forums.
I'm just having flashbacks to geometry, like angle side angle and stuff.
Well, I mean, if it's the Supreme Southern Showdown, we could just market this as like Supreme Leader Snoke. I don't know.
It is the South. I think we need to be careful with these words.
Yeah, and we can't really call it the Atlanta Supreme Southern Showdown,
I mean,
as
that's what it's labeled.
Carl just pointed out in the chat as to why not.
I think that was why they added Atlanta to the Slack channel name.
I can see it. But that is, again, January 12th to the 14th. More details will come out soon. I guess there is a Slack channel for it. And there's going to be information on the forums as well. And The hotel link will be live very soon.
It's up. I already
It
booked my
is.
room.
Oh,
Yep.
nice,
Yep.
nice. And then April 5th through the 7th, we have the Indianapolis Eclipse event. That one again, I believe the hotel link is definitely live. I've already got my hotel room.
Me
Uh,
too.
yeah, that one I'm super excited for. I think a lot of people are going to be going to this one. It's the first. It's the first Star Wars event in a long time in Indianapolis. So make sure you guys go out, support it, and go see the eclipse. This one this one feels like it's going to be a big one. And then no official forum post yet, but in the I believe it's the first weekend of December. So December the second, third, and fourth, I believe, is the Vegas Super Weekend. That's going to be Nevada states, and it is going to include a retro event. So if you're interested in playing any retro form, I believe there it is going to have a retro event. I forget what the which one it is. Okay, the 15th. Thank you. But yeah, there is going to be a retro event. Batmouse is like talking this thing up out the wazoo. Premiere to Reflections 2. Thank you. So, and I believe that's going to be his like 40th birthday big thing. So if you're on the West Coast, if you're not on the West Coast, go out to Vegas, go play Star Wars with Batmouse. He'll probably feed you some good food. So that I would love to go to that one. Unfortunately, there's no way I can swing that.
I'm grounded. I'm not going to that one. I've been traveling a lot. I'm going to Philadelphia for PAX in December, and then obviously Atlanta and
Yeah.
Indy. So
Yeah, again, the PAX is something else I was like looking at, and I was just like, can I do this? No. So that's all we got for the news. So let's go ahead and talk to Hayes about your third major victory of the year. Like, what a year you had, man. Like,
yeah,
you went to nationals, you took that down. You went to a little tournament out in Jersey. You won that one. And then you got out to Seattle, and you're the first Team 5 member to go and win the Indoor Grand Prix.
what? I
Yeah.
I won it before.
Yeah, you're still the first one though.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
But no, I mean, you've had like one heck of a run, and so how does it feel to have like an insane season like this?
I mean, Nationals was good. Worlds was obviously the best. I sunk a ton of time in for that event, and then I feel like Endor was a little bit of just little lucky and coasting because I'm definitely far less invested for any events going forward, right? Like I'm like box has been checked, so now I can have fun. So Endor was, I mean, I love going out to Seattle. A lot of my team is out there, so
Mm-hmm.
it's a great excuse to see them and their significant others and just good food and good people. So I think Seattle's a beautiful part of the country. I just like my time out there. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to go to have fun and play games at night, and I did that. Me and Surson and I think Surson was the only one. No, Werfs. I mean, like half of the top eight was up at 3 in the morning before we had to play the top eight. So that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a great fun event to go to and see good people. I would encourage anyone and everyone to go to the Indoor Grand Prix.
So let's talk about the Star Wars aspect first. So you go to Worlds, you take this Tatooine Desert Landing Site deck, you take an Obi-Wan communing with you, and you take those not the exact same decks, but
Yeah, I lent Joe a card for like the antechamber or something for day 3 because he wanted an extra site, and then we got
Hmm.
paired, so he didn't actually play it, but I didn't care anything about getting it back because it's an antechamber. And it comes time for the tournament, and I'm like, oh no, I have to go upstairs and find a card. He's like, well, I can give you yours back if that means you don't have to touch cards. I said, yes, this is good. So, I managed to, I just found my boxes from Worlds and I packed those, and I figured if, I could build decks out of whatever was in there. And I did. I
Hmm.
just played the same once because that was easy.
So I mean, was it just being like really comfortable with those decks after Worlds?
Yeah, how do you, most people change decks from event to event because you lose some games or you learn something and you make a decision that says, oh yeah, this was bad. I just won a tournament with these decks. So I'm like, just keep going.
Why not?
Um, yeah. So the only cutesy thing they did was take out all the Force Lightnings, which everybody gave credit. I mean, we were playing 3, and
Yeah.
everybody all day, both days, thought I had Force Lightning because why wouldn't you play Force Lightning in that deck, right? So that was the only cutesy thing that I did really, but they were pretty much the same. They're just very solid, um, difficult to beat decks.
So I
So.
do notice that you put in like Maul's Strikes into the Desert Landing site. What made you go with that card in particular?
We expected Y40 and we expected Yoda Muning, and Maul Strikes is good versus both of those. Whereas I think we did I Have You Now too on the first day,
Mm-hmm.
and like Emperor Shuttle on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted to add a different wrinkle, right? So if everybody's playing around your Force Lightnings, if they're looking over here, you hit them over there with something that they weren't expecting. So it was just a matter of including something that wasn't on the original list to that we have there's the core of the deck is only like 40 cards. Like there's 20 cards that are pick your own adventure. It's just as Tom has exhibited, he has approximately 17 million different versions of that deck. So
Yeah.
it's just you play what's fun and you play what you think is good for the meta. And I put zero time into start. Well, I didn't put zero time in, but I didn't touch my cards between. So it was easy to switch 6 cards and call it good.
And I do got to ask, like, one of the cards that sticks out the first to me in this Dark Side deck is Wooher, or I think that's how you pronounce him. Was he
Mhm.
in your uh, Worlds list?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's when I mean you have to. It's one of those cards where they have to like think that you have it, but it's one of those ones where like it gives you the sight because nobody wants to contest it with weapons, knowing that they're just going to get blanked.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it's he is worth the slot. Yeah, that's one bluff that I want them to try to call.
That's fair.
And there was an Ellis in there too. We thought it would be cute to like deploy him somewhere and then Ellis him during the activate phase so he triggers. Um, but yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of like the cute stuffs and everything. So, I mean, to me, that just again, like you were saying, it's cute. Um, and then, like you said, for your light side, you ran Obi-Wan Community Pack. You went with it at Nationals. You played it at Worlds.
Yeah, and I think what chance did we have? Did they have? Do you have? Whatever that
Mm-hmm.
card is. Um, we anticipated there'd be a lot more walkers, and we were wrong. So one dead card. Oh well. But the card I had cut was relatively unprotective, which actually would have been better to have because it really helps against ISB. But whatever. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
one or two cards doesn't make a huge difference. It's just to flavor. I think all of us were similar in our builds. Just personal preference for those last slots.
So I know that you like to run your Obi-Wan community with like the site tour, play 2 copies of I Can't Believe He's Gone. What is your take on this Tom version that we've seen a little bit that are being thrown around right now, where
Yeah,
players play Luke Rebellion's Hope, um, multiple Jyn Ursos, multiple like Skywalkers, like, and
yeah,
you run Luke's hunting rifle.
yeah. It plays. kind of similarly to how Desert Landing Site SSA plays.
Mm-hmm.
It wins by going wide and not really being vulnerable in doing so. It's just a very resilient deck. Um, and yeah, I think Tom is probably the one who sort of pioneered it. Desai refined it. But the list is, I guess because his list was posted, so like,
Mm-hmm.
Greg Shaw was playing it in Ohio, and I think you tried it. You took it for a test drive. I know you love the deck.
I
Um,
ran it at Endor, and I think I went 1 and 3 with it in the
It
main
it
event.
plays completely differently from how the main Z version goes.
Yes.
The main Z version is a lot more narrow. It I don't want to say it likes to stack, but it relies a lot more heavily on the shuffle. And then
Yeah.
my personality and play style, I like to attack. Like I'm happy giving up use pulls if I can place my mains at your sites and for board state advantage. The it's a much I feel like the not having the green cards, the sabers and Cytor start,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little more passive, in that it can't go aggro onto the opponent. It wants to almost diplo a bit, where you set up somebody over at the cantina, you set up somebody else at the completely opposite end of the board and then something in space. And it's like, well, okay, if they kill your guy, they like, even if they have the cards to kill two of your characters through whatever evasion and tricks you might
Mm-hmm.
have, the revive means they're not breaking battle plan. So it's a really consistent way to start damage rolling.
Yeah.
And with all those use pulls and Ray commuting peaking and 3PO and so forth, like the deck just hums along. But it's a different style. The system I think is a very interesting choice. It can be a liability in some matchups.
Yeah.
Obviously, you try not to play it in those, but it's still just, um, it's a different flavor. Like I feel like obviously without having green cards and clash and that kind of thing, it's probably like worse to play against scum like
Yeah.
CCT or whatever. But at
Definitely.
the same time, and this leads into Endor, no offense, Surson, but why would anyone play CCT in an environment where Cytor Obi muting is a thing, right? So it's sort of, the deck is starting to iterate. I said this in CBT. I don't think the best version of the deck is out there yet. Um, but it definitely looks like it's now on everyone's radar. I mean, it's obviously performed really well for me. So.
Now you're referring to the Cytor version,
No,
correct?
I'm just Obi Muning in
Oh,
general.
okay.
I think the main strength of the deck is the fact that you can find any card you want between Imbat's use pulls,
Yeah.
Ray's use pull, Ray's her in concert with the commuting peak Ray's ridiculous, and 3PO, right? So you have all these manipulation things. So, I look at my dark deck, and my dark deck is like two of a million cards, because even with Forlom, like you just need to find stuff fast for consistency. So the way
Yeah.
you do that is you double up a lot of things. Whereas in Obi Muning, it looks like a Highlander deck because you're like, yeah, there's a few cards I'd like to hit more frequently, so you double or triple them. But like most everything else is a one-off because it's just super easy to find exactly the card you
Mm-hmm.
need. You look for a location that's not there that tells you what's in your force pile. You know spend your force effectively and hope your use pile hits. So
Mm-hmm. So let's really quickly talk about your day one experience. So day one Endor, I believe you went 6-2, lost to Mike Kessling on stream once,
oh yes.
and
And then I
you
conceded to Kyle.
yes. So so besides the I don't want to say the concession to Kyle to we're getting to it, Bat Mouse. Don't worry, we have this set up, but no, we have besides the concession to Kyle, like you went, I want to say what 3-1 with both decks.
I don't know. I definitely lost with light.
Yes,
I don't know. Oh yes, because Kyle was all happy that Watch Your Step went 4-0 over two world champions. That was his.
Kyle
Yes.
played Watch Your Step.
So technically I went 3-1 with both decks.
So Again, we saw what happened on the game on stream, so I really don't want to reiterate that. Was there any match that you felt like you were having a, like was there any like rough matches for you on day
Um,
one?
I played against Worf's QMC, and I think that that's one of those games where if his draw is a little bit better, it can be a really challenging matchup for um, the Desert Landing site deck,
Mm-hmm.
especially since I wasn't running any Masterful Move combos. I was convinced there'd be no QMC, and of course I get paired against QMC. So I'm like, these come out. Um, and then the ISB game is definitely a tough game. Like I lost to Kessling. Um, just I think we were both like undefeated or something, or like,
Mm-hmm.
meh, who cares, you know? But and then I played against Brian Fred, and I think it was the same deck, and I beat it. But um, yeah, there. I mean, Obi Muning, I feel very confident with against everything. Again, goes back to the as long as the answer is in your deck, you can definitely find it.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I, I I mean, I think the Kessling loss is my only one with the OB deck, but yeah, Desert Atlantic Site is a little more RPS. People I think have gotten better. I mean, I think people are improving against both decks, but the Desert Landing Site deck, especially if you don't like change the right cards, the deck can do very poorly, as evidenced by my performance with it in Ohio. So, uh, but yeah, no, like I mean, OB Muning is good. Desert Landing Site is good. They give you lots of outs. There's no like easy way to beat
Mm-hmm.
them. There's no auto losses, and that's always something I strive for is to try to play decks that I don't like the RPS. Like I don't really enjoy playing Y4 or Ops or even like Thrawn or something, just because it feels one dimensional to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be able to do all the things and pick and choose.
Okay. So you go into day two. Your first matchup is you're facing
Or
down
Saracen.
Ryan Saracen. I want to say it was his CCT versus your OB commuting, and then it was I don't even know what he played for light side. I'll be honest.
I think we didn't play the game because it was like
Yeah.
30 or something. Yeah, it was. I think he said he had either. I think he had Y4 ops or Yoda muning maybe. I don't know. Um,
I can actually look for it right here.
yeah, I mean, I don't
Hitco.
hate. Oh, it's Hitco. Okay,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
Hey,
Yeah,
look, Ryan's in
it's.
the chat too.
Hey
Perfect
Ryan.
timing.
Yeah, yeah, I feel bad for Ryan because I love Ryan and he made a calculated gamble and the odds were not in his favor. So
So I know that game was on stream. From someone who hasn't watched it, what happened?
OB Muning gets lots of use polls and deploys all the meaningful characters to take one site from Dark. When Dark loses that site, they have to scramble for an alternate win condition, and Nabrin says, I don't care. I mean that's basically what happened.
That's fair. So then in your second match, you're facing down Steve Brenson,
Mhm.
who played AOBS and Yoda Commuting. How did those games go?
Very much enjoy playing against agents with Obi-Wan. It's up to the dark side player how they get to sort of dictate
Mm-hmm.
the way the game's going to go, but light has answers for it. So I find the most common outcome is that dark and light are kind of pacing similarly in terms of damage, and then dark feels obligated to pull ahead, so they go to space, and then as soon as they go to space, you smash them out of space. Like that's kind of the blueprint. It can vary. But I felt confident in that game and like I had a ridiculous draw because I had like all three of my ships
Mm-hmm.
out like after my first use pull I think was for Luke and then I think my second one was for Profundity. So then I just randomly drew and I think I had one of my opening hands. So like finding the third ship was just blind luck and then it was
Mm-hmm.
like well he went to space really light. I guess I'll deploy all my space and that kind of was it. Um, the second game was a much better game. I was playing it a little bit not to lose, but like Leia is the OA, like I don't know where it is. I like it's kind of back. Like I
Oh,
think OA got played at Euros, and
yes.
then I know that Brenson's just been playing it for a while because I know he doesn't get a ton of reps or whatever. So like, I mean, it's still a really, really good deck because it doesn't have those auto. I mean, that's what I look for in a deck, right? No auto losses, and I don't
Hmm.
think there is any auto losses now. All the new cards um, really protect it from the map auto loss. Um, but it's just that being able to reduce the control phase damage to one is universally good. So
Hmm.
as long as you're a good player, which Brenton obviously is, um, I mean, for him, it's like riding a bike. He may not know all the cards, but he's savvy. So
Yeah.
that game, I honestly don't know. Like if we had flipped the order, if we had played that game first and like had to play it to its full outcome, I mean, I think that's a really challenging game for Desert Landing Site.
Okay.
All that retrieval is annoying. So,
And
but yeah, I just
then
drew up.
I was gonna say, and then in the finals, you face down Werfs, who again playing CCT and Yoda commuting.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We were baffled. We're like, why why are people doing this to themselves? But um
I mean, to be fair, Werfs is one of those players. He's been playing CCT for quite a while. Like, if he's, I would say he's probably the best CCT player out there.
he's up there. He plays the Northwest version. I think I said this on some interview or
Mm-hmm.
somebody was talking about it at Endor, but my Um, we have for our playtesting lists on Team 5, we have two different versions. We sort of have like a new allies flavor of the deck, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have the worst flavor of the deck because he like doubles the amount of characters and has like random Destiny sevens, and like his deck it plays a lot differently than I think your standard CCT, and he is very good with it. And you know,
And I love his little tech card in there, which was Tequil. Like, haven't
didn't see
seen
it.
somebody play that in forever, and I mean, I get why nobody's played it in a while, but I mean, I can
It's
see
just
it.
it's situational. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the problem with it. It's a dead card. It's the same reason like why I hate limited resources. Yes, it's really good when it works, but
Yep.
98% of the time it is not a great card to have in your hand. And the court deck is interesting though because it maximizes the swap because of the destiny discrepancy, whereas I feel like most dark decks have maintained destiny creep. So like, who cares if you flip a 4 and a 6? Like, no big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's often flipping for like a more maximum benefit, like 2 versus 5 or something. So
Yep. There it is. Eric Tequil. Destiny 3 lost interrupt if both players drew one destiny, use one force to switch the numbers. Not again, yeah, not necessarily the best of cards, but it's a worse card. So, so again, so after Endor, you pack up, you go back to Tennessee. I know what it is. I'm just saying. I mean, give me credit. I mean, I'm trying to be helpful here, but you go back to Tennessee, and then less than a week later, you're driving up to Columbus for the Ohio Mega Worlds. You're one of four people who go from Seattle to Columbus. How was that?
well, can we back up?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So in Seattle, I'm getting a new wallet. So in Seattle, I decide that I'm done with my old wallet and I like take all my cards out and I throw it on the ground and I'm like, I don't need this anymore. And Thornton picks it up and he's like, well, this isn't terrible. I could use this wallet. And I'm like, it's yours. Take it. I don't care. And he's like, well, then I have this extra wallet and it's the wallet that Carl stole, right?
Yep.
So and of course there was a Rebo in here somewhere too. So the idea is we're gonna take the wallet that Carl stole and get the Rebo in it, and then I'm gonna take it to Ohio and then somehow get Carl to get the, pick up the wallet again by accident, only
Yep.
to discover he'd been Reboed. There was a part of the plan that involved going to a department store where they sell wallets and opening up all their wallets that were like on display and taking out those fake plastic credit cards,
Yep.
so we could like weight it appropriately. But we, like Indiana Jones measuring the sand. I didn't know how many cards Carl carried, so we kind of abandoned that. Um, but it's definitely one night in Seattle. Um, I delivered the wallet to Carl, and he went through the wallet and he found the Rebo.
Well, so was that, you said that was Seattle, or do you mean Columbus? That was Columbus,
That
right?
was in Columbus, but the wallet had to travel from California to Seattle, get traded for a Tennessee wallet to go back to Tennessee, then up to Ohio, where it now resides and it's not even well, it is kind of it's an ortolan that's posing as Max Rebo. I'm not sure where that came from. I don't even know who signed the card. That's yours?
So I forget who had the box of, just like, he bought a collection, and everybody was going through it, and one of the cards that was just sitting there on top was on Orland, or Toland, or how you ever say it. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna give this to B Fred. So I art it up a little bit, sign it, and I'm just like, I give something to B Fred. I'm like, here you go, because I go with my trade binder, which B Fred just loves, because it's got like 3 copies of Light Side Space Slugs, Trooper Charge, all these cards that you wouldn't think that people would want. And I'm just like, these are like, I have 10 copies of these. What am I going to do with them?
Well, if you have 10 maneuver checks, that's like nearly a 12 pack of Coke.
Exactly. I mean, I did trade a maneuver check for a Coke, so I mean that was worth it. But, and he's going through my binder, and he like uh, he remembers something about Space Slug. So at that point, I'm just like, well, I gotta give him a fake card, that's not Space Slug, but or something. But um,
And then the I'm just gonna fast forward a bit. I did finally get my wallet. I'm gonna put it up here. Oh God.
yep,
I don't know
it's
how
it's
to I
it's
don't
going away. I was gonna say, you got to put your head like right behind it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to do. So it's from a really sweet. It's this Horween leather, cordovan leather, and I got it custom made. So I got the symbols on there. So
I mean, you were
anyway,
you were talking about that for a while, so
dude, I was waiting 6 weeks for this. It's next to my belt and my new car. Well, it's not new anymore, but this is like my third favorite material position, excluding Star Wars cards. So
you got a new
love it.
car.
Well, it's like 2 years old, but yeah, still new for me.
That makes sense. No, so yeah, everybody's in the chats like, yeah, it's almost as good as the belt. Amazing
Oh
wallet.
no, it's
So
it's not as good as the belt, but it is really nice.
yeah. So yeah, you. So how was Ohio?
Well, so get back from Seattle, about, tired, scratchy throat, not feeling great, about to go to bed. Cat has to go to the vet. So we're at the emergency room
Oof.
until 4 in the morning. Cat's fine, no cancer. We just paid a lot of money to figure out that he was stressed out, basically. Anyway, cat's good, but I'm sick. I hit 106. Um, like I didn't even know that was possible. So
Yep.
I was not thinking I was gonna make the trip. COVID tested like 4 times before I took off. All negative, even the morning of, go up. But and mind you, the week prior to this was Seattle, and prior to that was Florida. So like all week I'm like sick and trying to do work and just miserable. So anyway, made it, woke up, felt great, charged off to Ohio. Um, what was your question?
I mean, how was it? I mean,
Oh,
I
absolutely. So, okay. I loved going to Ohio as a kid. Origins is out there.
okay.
Are you making fun of me because I'm Grandpa Simpsoning your answer?
No, I'm more along the lines of, I'm making fun of you because you said you loved going to Ohio.
Not all of Ohio, just
Okay,
specifically Columbus.
that's fair. That's fair.
Um, but no, I mean, I used to drive out there for Origins,
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid. So, and the first time I went back was last year for whatever regionals they were holding after meeting, you know, um, Carl and obviously Kendall and you know Travis in the basement, all that stuff. Like I had to go up and see it for myself. So I went last year, had a ball. It's a great little city. They've got some really cool eateries and stuff. It's
Oh
very
yeah.
navigable. I mean, it's within 6 hours for me, so it's like, why not? But yeah, no, this time I was really pleased to see we had like 20, 17, 18 people or something each
Yeah.
day. Really, really great turnout for just like, I mean, I guess it was Ohio Mega Worlds, right? So after all. Um, but no, I just wanted to get back up there because the local scene there is really cool. I love all those guys. Travis is such a wonderful host. Carl is like the best tour guide. All of his recommendations were spot on. Uh, Absolutely a man of class and culture. Um, we got an Airbnb somewhere. It was really cheap because it wasn't a home game for OSU, the Ohio State University
Yeah.
or whatever. Um, yeah, it was I like the city. I think I think it'd be a really, really cool spot to have for a major in the future. I
Yes.
think everybody, so 17, 20, I don't know how many of us were there, right? But like I feel like pushing 50% of everyone got COVID or sick from this event. Um,
Yeah.
and like everyone still like would do it again.
Yep.
It's fine. It was great. It was a wonderful time.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the basement is a thing of beauty.
Yes. Having finally seen Travis's basement and being a part of it, it was amazing. And I will say I'm with you 100%. Like, don't get me wrong, the hotels that we do, they're nice, but that house for the Airbnb you got, I don't know what you pulled to pull that to get that. It was great.
And
Like,
yeah, no, it was so also very surreal, like being like, "Hey again, Dan. Hey again." Right?
well, I
Like
mean,
just
like I said, it was you, myself, Brian, Fred, and Ryan Saracen
it was so
who
weird.
were in Seattle. Then we go to this event. Um, no, I mean, like I said, I would go there again, do it all again in a heartbeat. Travis, again, like you said, magnificent host Saturday night. Kendall put on a great event. Chad ran an amazing event. So, Carl, like you said, like going out to
The
dinner.
distribution of labor was excellent, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
everybody had their role amongst the local community, and everyone played their parts perfectly. So I wouldn't. I mean, obviously, I don't wish everyone to get sick again, but
No.
everything was great about the weekend.
Yeah, it was like the Monday afterwards that kind of sucked.
I felt great. I was fine.
Well, that's because you unfortunately left early on Saturday,
I
go back to
was.
the B and passed out. I mean, you did show up, which was nice. We all sure like I enjoyed the Uber drives that we had. It was great. You get making me tip extra for a piece of gum.
Yeah, the tournament reports that are out there are fantastic. I would definitely
I
encourage
still got
people
to
to
do
read them.
mine.
I'm not.
Well, I mean,
But
I know on Saturday you went what 3-3.
yes, I lost all my dark side games and I won all my light side games. And then I fixed my dark deck and then I lost to Shaw with the dark deck still and I won the rest of them. But I didn't I mean it was just I don't it was fine. It was great. It was fun.
So
I go ahead.
I was going to say I do have a question for you in the chat. Carl wants to know why you wouldn't drink the Pedialyte he brought you.
I knew that I was getting better. I knew that everyone else was getting sick, so I left it for the group. It was a conscientious uh decision. And
Okay.
besides, you only told me to take it out of the house, which I did.
I will say you definitely missed some fun cockroach poker on Saturday. Like playing that game. First of all, just Carl like transformed from like mild manner Carl, laid back to I know I can beat everybody here. Like I'm going to win. I'm going to convince everyone this is what I'm putting down.
I also feel like that was the night that everyone in that basement that night is the ones who got sick.
Yeah,
Oh well, maybe it's the pizza.
definitely. I mean, once you order like pineapple on a pizza, it
That was
kind of
Friday
happens.
night. That's when we met Gemp
Uh,
Tom in real life.
I was gonna say no, that was
That was Friday night.
Saturday. Was the pineapple? Yeah, it was at Travis's because I wasn't there Friday.
Well, maybe they had pineapple two nights. I don't know. I don't recall any pineapple on Saturday. But like you said, I went back to the Airbnb to sleep.
That's
So
fair.
I don't know.
Apparently, Travis found the Pedialyte in his mailbox,
Yeah, I know.
so I'm just reiterating it. But no, like, and now going forward, you're saying like you wanted to host, you would be willing to do like a major should be there.
Mm.
Like, are you saying that
Yeah,
because of like the
it makes sense for a lot of different reasons. I think the tournament committee is already aware. There's some logistical advantages to it. It has the player base, um, relative cost and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of factors into go into where a major is held. I'm not responsible for that at all.
yeah,
Um, Selfishly, it's nice to drive to a tournament instead of always flying, but
I will
that's
agree. I
really
will agree 100%.
not a huge consideration for me personally, but there's a lot of reasons why it could be good. So if it happens, it happens. I'm looking forward to it or not, whatever. I'll show up wherever there's tournaments.
So I think you said this earlier. You are going to Atlanta. You are going to Indianapolis. What's the rest of the year looking like for you? Are you planning on going to Worlds over in Germany next year?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I randomly refreshed the forums the second that show posted that, so I'm first on the list. Just random timing. Absolutely. Um, I don't. I mean, I'm concerned because I'd like more details sooner than later because that'll
Yes.
make it more certain for me. But
Hmm.
um, I kind of feel like I'm gonna just end up in Europe sometime in September or October. So whatever happens, I'll be there for some tournament. Might be Euro Championships, depending. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I will be on that side of the pond with near certainty. I mean, life can throw curveballs at you or
Very,
something,
very
but
true.
I have very little doubts, very few doubts that I'll be there.
Ryan suggests the Beefred Bull battle if we need a alternative title for the next tournament out in Columbus.
What?
The Beefred Bull battle.
Oh no, that poor bull.
So, is there
I,
a story about the bull? I saw it.
I think a picture is worth 1,000 words, and if you go into the Slack chat, you can find some pictures, and I believe there may be some custom sleeves coming out of it. But yeah, it was a great night. There's a eatery. Just read Surson's TR. Like it's all explained there. Like I don't need to. This is all in TR land. It's a really fun little
Yeah,
mm, nice place to eat with lots of choices. Very high upscale food court, I guess would be a way to describe it. But
it was surprisingly really solid. Like the food was really good, the beer was good. I'm sad that I missed the whole going to the breweries with everybody afterwards.
yeah, they were okay. But
I
I think
mean, it's more so the people.
absolutely.
Like I would have loved to stay and just crash at the Airbnb another night just to hang out with people.
We didn't tell you to go home.
I had to. I thought, well, it was also one, nobody was checking on my animals for reasons, but that's besides the point. And two, I thought I was like, oh, I have to work the next day. Nope, COVID. To be fair, driving when you're sick with COVID would have sucked.
Yes.
So I'm kind of glad about that. So
Oh, at least you made it,
yes,
and shame on everyone else who didn't. But
uh,
it was a good turnout.
I'm
It was
just glad
fun.
I didn't completely suck.
You beat me. You crushed me.
I I still don't think that happened.
It did. I was there.
I wasn't. But yeah, again, big congrats to Greg Shaw for winning that. Speaking of which, right now I'm
Shaw
actually,
played fantastically all weekend. He was on.
that was probably the cleanest I've seen Greg play in a while.
Carl had some respectable
Carl,
performance too.
oh, Carl going what second on Saturday, and I want to say he was like fourth or fifth on
He
Sunday.
he went 5-1 on day one, and then
Yes,
the second day was I can't see the
I think he
chat,
went
so
3-1.
okay,
Yeah,
that's very good.
he went 3-1. Brad also went 3-1.
Yeah, for people who weren't there, it was also like the deciding event for the league. How did why Dan, why are you making that face?
Oh, you know why? Tie going in. Brad
There's three
comes in
people
like
tied,
yeah,
yeah,
three people
to win
tied.
the league.
Brad goes 3-1. I go 2-2. Carl goes 3-1. Brad won it by 5 points over me. Carl tied with me on points, but because he won an event and I placed like second in everything except for this event and the one event that I came in last, which was the one event I dropped. He got second over there. So I know you tried, Ryan, but next time don't lose on ties. What was it, 32 to like 24 in lost piles when you both had 6 cards on the table? That's what you get for playing CCT. Think be better. Got it. Play less cockroach poker. So, but before we go and talk about next week, I do got one last card challenge for you, Hayes. It's an underlying card. No, it's not Space Slug.
Okay.
So, 45 seconds. You can. I can either give you. I'll give you the set or the card type of what is under it, and yeah, the set or the card type, and you tell me what the card is. So I'll put it up, show it off to everybody. Get the timer ready.
I can't see it, by the way.
Your card is Master Qui-Gon Jinn, an old friend.
That's the communing version of him.
That is. You have 45 seconds starting now. Starting now. It is the commuting.
And you can tell me either the set that the underlying card is from or the
Yep,
type.
or the type.
That doesn't help because Tatooine is all red cards.
Yes.
So I'm sticking with Space Slug. Final answer.
Uh, just think of any Tatooine card that has Qui-Gon on it. That's a
No,
red card.
no, it's Space Slug. You can't fool me.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
Completely?
Mm-hmm.
Well, does the chat have an answer? The chat has. There are 2 people in the chat who have said an answer. One is
Space
Carl.
Slug.
One is Carl. One is Eric Hallbaker. Who do you pick? That depends on if you win or not. And Ryan Saracen has given an answer too.
I pick Ryan. I don't even know what he put, but I have a feeling I'm gonna like Ryan's answer.
You're gonna like Ryan's answer. He put
Yes.
down maneuver check.
Oh, that's close. Good one, Ryan.
Yeah. Carl and Eric have both said it's either way you win, which is the correct card.
Not Space Slug.
Nope. There's no card that Space Slug is the underlying card.
Mike Kessling begs to differ.
I know he thinks it's the antechamber, the Maz Castle's antechamber.
So much so he put it under all of them.
Yep. That's where the Space Slug joke comes from, everybody. So, but again, next week I'm in talks to getting Carl and Greg on to talk about both their performances at the Ohio Mega Worlds, and then on top of that, we're going to start a nice little segment of talking about like one of the gentlemen at Indoor gave me a list of ideas to come up with, so we're going to start doing that. We'll talk about that more next week as
Did
well.
you get the list?
I got the list.
Awesome.
I'll send it to you afterwards.
Cool.
So until then, everybody, take care, enjoy yourselves, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and as always, may the force be with you. Good night.